Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is a video I did a couple of years ago on building a leaning pole set. So most of the video is going to be silent. You'll be watching me building a set, and this is just one way to do it. I hope you enjoy. So first off, I found a location that I felt was suitable. I picked a tree, and there wasn't a deadfall suitable for my purposes, so I ended up making one ready. You'll see I've kind of scored the tree here just to give it a flat spot for the leaning pole to sit against, and I've also done the same on the leaning pole. I have my hatchet and my fiskars with me. That's what I use to score the tree and the leaning pole, and a few spikes, you know, the typical stuff that a trapper would carry with him. Here I'm struggling a bit trying to keep the leaning pole against the tree while I drive a couple spikes in. My spikes weren't long enough. And along with the nails, we always carry wire, so you can adapt to every situation, and you'll see here that's what I decided to do. So I gave up on driving the spikes and gathered some wire. After I get the length I want, just give it a snip, and then you'll see me here twist it a bit to make it stronger. If you haven't noticed, my beer diet is not working out, but in this case it kind of lends me an extra hand or shelf to help put the pole on while I fasten the wire. Tighten it up a bit with the pliers, knock down the ends of the wires so that they don't impede any Marten that try and come up into the box. Now, as I had mentioned, every situation is different, and this particular pole did not have a flat spot at the top for me to sit the box on. It would tended to want to rock a lot, so you'll see me here get my trusty fiskars machete out and make a spot. I just can't get over how handy this fiskar's in, and you'll see me here reverse and chip towards myself. Please do not try this at home. I am experienced in wearing gloves, and although accidents do happen, I'm pretty confident I'm not going to hurt myself. As trappers, we're constantly adapting to our surroundings to make the most of our situations and how we set things, our traps, our snares. for the prey that we're after, and I have set running pole sets for many years, and I can honestly say that there's probably only one or two that have repeated themselves. They all seem to be a little bit different. Although they may look the same, they all need something a little different, fine-tuning, adjustments, some blocking, or even a bit of decoration. So once I get the box situated where I want it, I will put a couple smaller nails through it to hold it in place. I'll put my boxes various different ways. In this particular case, I put the longer edge to the top to help keep some snow from building up on the edge of it, and help keep some of the bigger birds from wanting to get into it. Now, some of you might say, why didn't I put the box on the leaning pole when it was on the ground? Well, yes, you can do that, but I needed to trim the pole, and in doing so, I needed to have the pole up first to see where I wanted to put it in relation to my scoring on the side of it to mount it. This made it a little too tall for me to hammer down from the top when I got to the back of the box, so I just put a couple up through the bottom, which weren't going to impede any fur or animals getting to it because the bait would be back in there covering it. Here we'll have a little look over it to see if it's good enough for me or not, and then I will get a staple out and put it into the tree to anchor my trap to. I'll put a caravanner on it from the end of my trap so I can remove the traps easy if Marten's on it that's frozen in, and just replace it with another trap. And yet they still be hanging far enough off the ground and free from anything that the mice can't get at them. Here I'm using one of my older 120s, and you'll see that I have made a pan for it. It works really good. Now these 120s, not a big fan of how they have the set safeties on them. Um, that's why I hold it a certain way and have to move it around to keep them from falling off. It's a little bit tricky and had a close call here, but it's nothing that I'm not used to. Um, this type of trap's a lot easier to get your fingers out of than a 330, I'll tell you that. I've done a bit of testing with these pans, and sometimes I used to put the long side of the pan facing in, but found I would get imperfect catches, and so I put it to the outside now. Therefore, when the animal, the marten, gets in there, I make a lot better head catch than a suitcase catch, and it's a little more humane for the animal. Now for another chunk of wire. This will be used for the bait. You'll see here I put the wire right through the meat of the bait, big chunk of beaver, and then I wrap it around tight so that it holds it and won't fall out of the box. I will then put the longer wires up through the mesh at the back of the box and give it a little twist back there to hold it into place. I found that by doing it this way, some of the non-target species won't be able to get in there and steal the bait, especially after a catch has been made and the trap's out of the road. I usually carry two or three pairs of gloves on me just for different situations. These red mechanic gloves I have on I use for handling the bait mainly, and but don't always remember to switch them in and out. And for scent, we're going to get out a bit of Caven's long distance call lure here. Just put a little bit on a stick and set it on top of the box at the back. In the early season like this, I find that you need a little extra to call the marten in. There's no snow or crust of snow on the ground to make it hard for them to catch their meals down there, so you got to kind of draw them up into the box. This really works to get them close to it and get them investigating. I've also found that using a sandwich bag or a doubled up sandwich bag like this to keep it in greatly reduces getting the lovely scent all over everything else in your sleigh or your trap box or your pocket or your truck. And that is just one way to do a leaning pole set. So here we'll have a little closer look at it, and thank you for watching. Until next time, Paul Nicholls from Pausabni Traders. Be safe, be happy, trap, hunt, and fish.